And the only person, the one person that is sowing chaos is Governor Abbott. That's what he continues to do, political stunts in an inhumane way. He's actively undermining our border enforcement plan, which again has the lowest level of unlawful border crossings in over 2 years. He's making this more difficult. And so he's not operating in good faith here.
I don't think that anyone who lives in a border state takes her statement. That's Karine Jean-Pierre yesterday. Seriously. Welcome back to the program. Dana Lash here with you. Bottom of this second hour. Joining us to respond to all of this, the great big border showdown. It's honestly, it's kind of a showdown a lot of us were hoping for, is Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who said, no, we're going to see you in court. He's not going to remove these buoys that were placed in the Rio. And they're actually movable from what I understand. So you can have like some strategic deployment with these. Governor, we appreciate that you're doing this. We appreciate that you just said, no, we're not moving nothing. Take us to court. Talk to us about this. I just wanted to get your response to Karine Jean-Pierre there. She accused you of sowing chaos.
So the only person who's been sowing chaos is Joe Biden and his open border policies. Remember this, Dana, and that is 4 years ago, we had the lowest illegal border crossings in 4 decades. Under Joe Biden, we've had an all-time record of illegal immigration coming across the border. Maybe what she's referring to is we are sowing chaos with Joe Biden's open border policies, because Texas is the only state in the history of America that has actually erected barriers that deny illegal entry into our country. And count on this, we will continue to deny illegal entry into the United States.
And so these buoys have been deployed. Eagle Pass, this is, one of the hot spots where crossings have occurred. I was trying to understand, Governor, the White House's take on this, why they thought they had a legal challenge to this. And apparently they are saying that it violates the River and Harbors Act, which prohibits the placement of obstructions in the water without federal approval. I mean, I know what I know and I know what I don't, but that seems kind of like a weak objection to me. Your thought?
It's a bizarre objection. For one, on the face of the statute, we're not violating it. But Dana, on the bigger picture, think about this. The legal action of the Biden administration is being brought against a state that's actually trying to stop illegal immigration. The Biden administration has not pursued one legal action to stop people from coming across the border illegally. And so this is a topsy-turvy Alice in Wonderland type approach by the Biden administration. We need a president of the United States that is going to enforce the laws of the United States that prevent illegal immigration. And that means denying entry between the ports of entry in the United States. Texas has 29 ports of entry, and Joe Biden wants them to come across that border illegally between those ports of entry.
Yeah. And this, apparently Mexico's diplomat was saying, it may violate, they were very careful with their language. They said it may violate the 1944 and 1970 treaties on boundaries and water if it impedes the flow of water. It doesn't, Governor, it looks, from everything I've seen with video and photos, and I know exactly that area, it doesn't look like it's impeding the flow of water at all. So I think that seems to be a weak objection as well.
It only impedes one thing, Dana, and that is people who are trying to cross the border illegally.
You have to really think outside of the box here, because the administration hasn't really left you with a lot of options at this point in order to stem this. And you said that you would take this case all the way to the Supreme Court, which sounds like you anticipated going that far.
Absolutely. And so we have been wanting to have a case that would go to the United States Supreme Court that would revisit the Arizona case. Remember, Justice Scalia wrote a very strong dissenting opinion in that case, saying that states like Texas do have the constitutional right to secure our borders. And we are taking Justice Scalia up on his writing. And we believe and hope that we're going to have enough members of the United States Supreme Court that will agree with us, saying that whether it be the deployment of the buoys, whether it be the concertina wire barriers that we're building, whether it be the National Guard that are repelling illegal immigrants from coming into the state, or Texas building its own border wall. All of these strategies are perfectly constitutional, and we hope the United States Supreme Court will agree with us and affirm the strategies that Texas has adopted to be the state try to deny legal entry into our country.
We hope so too. We're talking with Texas Governor Greg Abbott because Texans are paying a lot of tax dollars to clean up Joe Biden's mess. I know we have a surplus in Texas because we've had smart management of money, but we don't want to blow through that trying to deal with the mess that the White House has created. I know to that effect you sent, what was it, the fourth bus of illegal entrants to California?
Fifth.
The fifth bus. I'm a bus short. The fifth bus. They're very upset over that, but they did say, did they not? They were a sanctuary state.
Oh, well, listen, a sanctuary state, sanctuary city, all these buses have been going to sanctuary cities, and now that they have to actually live up to what they self-declare in their sanctimony, they say they cannot accept it anymore. Look at what Mayor Adams in New York said. He said, New York is full. They can't take anybody else. New York only has a couple of weeks worth of illegal immigrants that have come across the border instead of Texas. So it's completely outrageous. It's completely fake on the part of these Democrat mayors across the entire country.
Yeah, it bothers me that with all of the talk about the compassion for people that are trying to cross the Rio, I'm sure you saw that story that came out in the New York Times. I think it was last month, where they looked at Health and Human Services and Office of Refugee Settlement, and they were looking at Xavier Becerra's actions in pushing these government contractors to hurry up and process these kids that were illegally brought across the border. And they were just shipping these kids out to who knows where. They lost track of like 100,000 of them. That sounds like child trafficking that HHS and Becerra are complicit in. There's no concern from the White House over that.
Well, the White House and frankly, Americans need to be outraged what Joe Biden is doing, shipping kids, adults, whoever, into all different parts of the country in the darkness of night. And no governor, no mayor, no resident, no citizen knows exactly what the Biden administration is doing other than very heavily populating our country with illegal immigrants. It must stop.
Yeah. Last question for you, talking to Texas Governor Greg Abbott. How far are you willing to go over the border shutdown? What if, as it gears up, because I know that the legal purgatory, for the lack of a better way to describe the process of it getting to the Supreme Court, the White House will act like something is de facto law. In the meantime, what happens if they say, we might come and arrest you for not following the law, or we might come and try to remove this, this quote unquote obstruction in the Rio ourselves? How would you stand against that?
We're in for the fight all the way. We're going to be doing everything we can, using every tool possible to make sure that we continue to deploy the buoys, continue to maintain the concertina wire, continue to build a border wall, continue to repel illegal immigrants trying to enter the United States. We're in this. This is, sadly, I got to tell you, this is a battle. And it's not a battle between Texas and the illegal immigrants so much. This is a battle between Texas and the United States of America. Our own country is abandoning its responsibility to maintain the sovereignty of our country. Texas has to step up and provide that barrier where we are going to be securing the sovereignty of our country.
Amen to that. Well, we're glad that you're doing it. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, we appreciate it. And I know everybody's standing right there with you. Everybody's got your six on this, and backing this move. Thank you so much, Governor. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dana.